went to the far side of the building on the roof, and I saw what ended up being like an impound. And then I look over, there was like an air conditioning room on the far side, and I heard gravel crunching, which it wasn't like on the roof, it was like from the road, gravel crunching, and I saw like a white flash go right behind the building, past the trees, and I knew it was a white truck that security used.
Tucker was like, "Oh, get down," and I trust the guys, so it's like we all just dropped.
And just out of instinct, I said, "Get down," so everyone would, just get out of view, because I knew Martinez and Trump were on the closer side of the road, so I wanted them to get down so they didn't get seen. But yeah, no, I thought security was like right there. I didn't think they saw us or anything, but I knew that being on the roof was a bad place to be for that to happen.
I just instantly dropped, didn't move. Yeah, there were some thoughts running through my head, but I mean, I knew we could, outrun most fat-ass security guards, so I wasn't too worried.
And as soon as I went down, I just thought, as a photographer, these would be some cool shots to get as everyone else was starting to go down, and like action shots, and just capturing the entire moment from start to finish and see how it played out.
We went through that door and there was like a courtyard thing.
Yeah.
We have to go through that. That leads to the trail to the
Hey,
main
do you see where
asylum.
the fence is? The fence just around the impound?
Yeah, the fence is just around the impound door.
So that building right there is the fucking asylum?
Yeah.
So we just have to go around that fence.
Yeah.
Do you see any other sort of security?
No.
This would be a...
Like climbing the walls, it was a little, I don't know, I feel like it was a lot of, movement, and like we were high up, so we could have easily been spotted. So it was a little bit sketchy. And then there's a few walls my fat ass couldn't get up on. But, you gotta get to the next building,
That was a little more risky, a little more tricky, because we didn't know how far the fence would go. It was just keep walking, keep running, try not to be caught. But like once we found out that it was a car lot and not like a security parking spot, it was like, okay, cool. Now it was just trying to focus on the surrounding and then the building inside of it, because we had to go one direction because there was a house or like not a house, but like a hut on the other side for like security or some shit. So we had to go the other way.
I was half expecting to see somebody in that little outpost shed they had there, but there was nobody there, thankfully.
All the previous scouting we had done was on Google Maps, and I don't know the last time Google Maps was updated, but that was not on Google Maps. Like, we would have seen it, and I've looked after the fact. You would have seen that giant car lot, and you don't. I was a little bit worried because like you do all this preparation, and then it's like, boom, whole new thing you have no idea exists, like appears out of nowhere.
But next to the car lot was that residential area, which was also really sketchy because you had to go into an opening just across the road.
All right, so this is the road. This is the risky part.
And I see this bus sitting there, and I'm like, I was worried because it's like, this bus is probably there picking people up and stuff. There's going to be people moving through there. Bus was there on our way back, so that was no issue. Apparently, I didn't know that at the time.
In the building we had lunch in, it was a nice little area. I felt like I could relax and that we were kind of safe in that little room, just all six of us just getting to chill and eat lunch and just relax. And
the first break kind of, let me think about like what we were seeing, like all the, where we actually were, like what this place was. And then, we started, we were joking around, talking.
All right, Tucker. How are we feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. Need some Ritz and an asylum.
This shit's pretty neat, man. Pretty fucking neat. God damn it, bro. Fuck you.
It's a ghost.
I'm gonna have some of your water.
Yeah, you're good.
How are you feeling?
Oh, wow.
Absolutely fantastic. But genuinely, because this place is awesome.
This part is supposed to be pressed against the back of your ear.
And that building was whack. That one made me feel weird. I don't know why, because we walked in the first door on the right. It's a big-ass room with like a waiting area. It's an old building, and it's been operating for a while, but there were only magazines pre-9/11, 2001. Like, it was only 2001, and it was pre-9/11 by like a month. It was all like June, July, August.
The newspapers were from before the asylum shut down. They were really old, but somehow they were still in good conditions, and they would just read off some old past news.
It's kind of weird. It's like some explorers past brought them in, more than likely, homeless people, whoever it was, just reading newspapers in there. And it's almost like the people who came before us into that building were doing the same thing we did. We were taking a break. Just kind of a nice break room. And the funny thing is, I think it was some kind of break room.
The graffiti in the building was really interesting. There's things from just normal graffiti and just words to very detailed pictures and like satanic drawings on the walls, floors, and ceilings. When you entered the room, you just didn't know what you might see, what sort of art or slang there might be just written across the walls.
It was funny walking through with Trump because there was so much fuck Trump type shit, and he's like, come on, man.
The graffiti was, it was a lot. There's just a lot of different stuff. There were words written on there, faces, messages to the next people coming to this asylum, which most of them were like, you're gonna die. So that was a little weird.
There was some really good art, like mixed in with some really bad sketch art and everything like that. And then like some sad ass shit. I think Morales posted it and it was like, don't die because I love you or some shit like that. And I'm like, damn. And then there was also stuff like, it hurts so much. And like, I've heard that. I've grew up with a bunch of suicidal people around me, so like hearing that, I've heard that from like actual voices, and then that being from like people that are there, and then they possibly didn't have anybody there to hear those words, so they had to put it on a wall somewhere for other people to find. So it was pretty crazy to hear all that.
And then I take my first step, in there, and I step in this fat ass puddle, and it was not enjoyable. I don't like having wet feet.
And I hear people like complaining about stepping into puddles and stuff, and I'm like, all right, there's like 1 or 2 puddles down there or something. They just got unlucky and stepped into it, so I'm gonna try to be careful. I turn on my phone light, barely even see the ground, it was so dark in there. And I like, first step I take, right in a puddle, like my whole foot's submerged. I'm like, oh, that's why they were complaining.
Just don't submerge your entire fucking foot in there. That was my whole thing. Don't submerge your entire fucking foot in there. You didn't know what kind of water it was. For some reason, it was clear though.
Well, I saw this one thing that went into some sewer, some drain. It must have been 10 feet deep, but it didn't look like there's any water. And it's like, I was squinting, and like I could see the reflection of my light, so I threw like a little rock down there. I hear it splash, and I see the ripples, and I see it go like so far down. I'm like, wow, like perfectly clear. But it's weird, it's such a dirty building. Probably water moving through there quite a bit, but still, it's weird.
Is that shit on the window?
Probably is, yeah.
That building, I felt like I deteriorated a lot more than the other ones, probably because of that water. Honestly, the humidity probably just soaked it up through the wood.
When I saw the kids' toys, I thought this must have been some sort of a school or residential area for children that were residents of the asylum. And to know that this is the area that patients lived in and couldn't really leave, as if it was a prison.
That was weird. Like, that children stayed in this place that was like, it was run through by tornadoes. Like, how many people died there, it just made me feel like uncomfortable that children were housed there and were being taught by these people.
That was really creepy, just seeing like how people lived once they were there and the aftermath of them being there. How much stuff they left, because it seemed like they left in a hurry.
What made them have to leave in such a hurry that they had to leave all this shit behind? Like everything was like left behind, all these kids' toys, everything.
So the kids' toys, I know Trump and maybe a few others were kind of weirded out by that. Kids live there. Kids leave shit behind. Kids had toys. It's just it was one of those things that didn't weird me out too much. I don't know if Trump saw it, but that would have freaked him out. There was a baby doll head in one of the pipes. Yeah, that was weird. I'll be real. But then again, dilapidated building, baby doll head. You gotta find it. There's one in every single one. I thought it was kind of cool to see that. Just to know that kids actually lived in this place that ended up being a living hell.
So yeah, I'm coming out of this building. I come out of a different door and I'm walking around the edge and I see y'all just in the doorway, like looking out there and stuff. Y'all are like, shh, get down, get down.
So me and him are walking and we both look to our left and we both freeze at the same exact time because we both see this movement in the bushes. And you know, we wouldn't have been so sketched out if it was like movement, like lower, you know, like an animal.
I know what a small animal going through bushes looks like. It's slower. It's a little more, it's just to the ground where you can hear the ground more than the actual shrubbery. That shit was tall. Like it was like person size. Like we saw the whole height of a person, like branches and stuff moving. So we thought it was a person immediately. Like maybe not like a security guard, like another explorer or just another guy.
Oh, we heard fucking movement in the bushes up ahead. Thought there might be a person, so he came back over here and told everyone to shut the fuck up. So I'm gonna go look.
And then we didn't hear it again, and then we moved on. Yeah, that was the whole thing, but it was an entertaining moment during that journey. This shit. It's a plane. Oh, there's a fucking dust cover. There's a fucking plastic round. I'm fired.
Again, like when we first walked into that building, there's just a bunch of desks, so you like almost knew that this was like a school for the kids who were sitting in the whole building. And again, like it's just weird that, you know, you hear all these stories about so many people dying in that place and how horribly they were treated. You know, children lived and were taught at this place, you know.
That was the first building I kind of hit those bad vibes, because it's like you see all these desks for school children and stuff, and it's like, yeah, these are the desks I used like when I was in school, and it's like, you know, children were there, you know, kids were there learning and stuff, and it's like you see something like that, and then it's like you really think about the people who were patients here previous to you showing up. You know, everything that was here was used by, you know, real people just like us. What were their thoughts? You know, what were their names? Why were they there? You know, you get all sorts of questions and you just wonder about their lives and stuff, and it kind of hits you like the history of this place. Like these guys, these kids too, died there. People were straight up tortured there. You know, you see that and you think about their lives and stuff, and it really hit me there in that building.
I didn't care for that building in general because I believe that was partially a chapel, and it was really creepy because I seen a pentagram on the open floor.
Seeing how the desks were arranged, like 6 of them, all in a circle, this must have been some sort of ritual of a sort for some satanic cult.
I know some people are like kind of like get freaked out by that. People go to abandoned buildings to do what they want. It is not uncommon to see people go, Hail Satan, in an abandoned asylum. That's where that's gonna be. No, it's spray paint, dude. If it's goat's blood, I'd be like, that's a little freaky. Then there was a basement down below. That shit was dark, like really dark. Our lights didn't even penetrate the doorway. It was crazy.
Because that phone light, as bright as it is, you just can't see everything. Like, it'd go a couple feet and it'd be dark again. And
that was freaky. I definitely thought there was a homeless guy in there at first, because there was like clothes there. There was like cardboard boxes and shit that were flattened out.
If I was homeless, that's probably where I would go, because it's very tucked away, and it's a basement. It's gonna be warm. There's lots of dark rooms you could hide away in there and stuff.
Which kind of sparked that memory of the bushes. I'm like, oh, that might have been like someone that may have lived there. So that was a little weird. I'm like, oh not be here for long.
Kind of interested in looking up these Instagram accounts.
Yeah. You get good photos in here, Miles?
I'm getting some pretty awesome photos, man. Like it's something I've always wanted to take pictures of.
Have you been down here yet?
And I get to the bottom of the stairs, and they don't see me. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back upstairs, guys. And I knew this basement kind of looped around. So I go, like they're going this way around the loop. I kind of go the other way here.
I was like, okay, I'm all right. Nothing bad's happened. We're pretty much through all of it. We're gonna get ready to leave pretty soon.
I'm like, I'm gonna hide behind this door. Just scare the piss out of Martinez when she comes around that corner. And she walks around the corner.
And my reaction is just this full-on swing. I know.
I go, ah! And he goes, ah! And pauses for a second, and it goes, boom! And just smacks my camera lens.
But like, I had to wind up, make sure you didn't have a fucking knife or a gun, and then just swing. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Well, that was my bad, though. I don't blame her at all. But...
Made some good footage out of it.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
If I had my aunt's reflexes, you'd be dead. I would aim for the face, not the camera.
We were just walking. I seen that hole, and I was like, all right, that could lead somewhere. That could go somewhere interesting. So I crawled down, and it was not a smooth landing. Kind of almost fell on my face. So I was a little bit iffy about that.
Honestly, I thought that was gonna be the most exciting part of the asylum, and it was. It was super fun. I love that stuff, especially like no one goes in the manhole. Everyone knows that. Every horror movie fanatic has seen the manhole cover and goes, nope, there's a demon witch down there. I wanted to see the demon witch, man.
Thank you, Trump.
Thank you, Trump.
Hey,
I was thinking this might lead to another building or just directly outside again, or to some unknown place.
But like when it came to like down there, it was a tiny space. We didn't know if we had to exit the same exact way we came in. So I was really nervous going into that. So I didn't know if like animals or anything like that. And crackheads exist, meth heads exist.
Tucker, get up here. I'm scared.
I'm fine.
Yep. Can't imagine it works.
You guys are right. Will we move first or something?
No. I want to stab somebody. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
I think I see a person down there, like kind of hunched over like this. It's like I saw that, and it's like in my brain, I know it's not a person down there. Like I know it's not a person, but like in my heart, it's like my heart just dropped. Some like primal like aspect of my brain was like, that is a person. It is going to kill you.
And then we get to the corner where it turns off to where the exit is, where the ladder is. I see Munsen just stop. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? So I walked up there and he goes, is there a person down there? I'm like, no dude, I'll go in front. And you just so casually go, yeah.
Even though I had the knife out, and I still had the knife out, so I was probably just gonna stab him. We get up there, and it's literally just like a pipe that leads into the wall. It goes from the ground, it leads into the wall, and it's got like some wrap over it.
And no, there was a pipe down there. It looked like a guy sitting down. It was weird. I got a little more sketched out, getting closer to it. I'm like, oh man, this is not gonna be fun. And then it was just a pipe.
I almost thought there was a person standing there.
So I started walking down there, and there's a very funny little, I think it was written in crayon or something, it had to be. It said exit, and there's a little arrow. I'm like, man, this is where the portal of hell is. So I kept walking, and then we saw this rusty, thin ladder. And I thought, I'm like, I gotta climb it, but I know if I do, I'm gonna die. So I climbed the ladder.
Tougher.
When I first saw it, is like, you know, you see the pictures and stuff, and we saw it from a distance through the trees, but seeing the asylum was honestly, it's pretty amazing. You don't realize like the scale of it, how grand it was, and how like just how old this building was, and you know, you could tell when it was made, and it's just amazing seeing it in its full glory, you know.
Moving into the asylum was a different experience than the rest of the facilities there. The asylum, to me, gave off a very strange vibe, almost of a thing that I shouldn't be here in this specific building right now. And then seeing that crawl space inside of the asylum, I just thought that there was some sort of like secret passageway that you could go through, or some sort of utility shaft, or some sort of vent of this sort.
I was starting to think like, why are all these, you know, weird crawl spaces like around all these buildings? Because, you know, it's just not normal for buildings. So I thought they were definitely hiding something there, because with this place and the stories, you know, you never know.
In there, and I didn't expect the other rooms, the 3 other rooms. The chair was kind of questionable. I was like, what the hell is this? And we found an old ass Coca-Cola can. That was cool.
That was in good shape. It was just drank, probably from 20 years ago at least, because Dr. Pep hasn't used that brand in a long time.
Wow, that's all. Spaghetti.
When I saw the condition of the stairs, I really thought that the structural integrity of the entire building just wasn't safe at all. Like, you could feel the stairs start to bow, and you could tell that they're about to give way pretty soon.
Because you'd just step and the floor would start like bowing down.
And then like you get to all the spots where like they held the patients, or, you know, they worked on them, which from the stories you have, like, they were doing some horrific stuff in those rooms. And all the old hospital chairs, like where they look at the patients, and like all their gear, a lot of files and stuff were just completely left there. And it looked like people just left that place in such a hurry and left so much stuff behind.
Some of the artifacts were like old admin papers, and I was like just reading through them, and it would have like class schedules, what they were doing that day. Some had like student names on them, and it just was really weird to get that look into the background of that building.
Saw some old shopping lists, like people's like budget, because they had patients and students had a budget, some work orders. The oldest one we found was from 1968, which is pretty cool. It's an old piece of paper where people were getting paid $5 a week to do their shopping. It's kind of funny. But.
Phyllis Smith. Accounting office.
This is a bill for $86,000.
Holy shit.
Does it say what for?
Can't read it.
These have dates?
Trying to find them.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
78.
Oh.
This one's 83. It's for a fucking exam.
That's why I mainly go, is because to find more information about it, not from Google or anything, but like from what was there. It was kind of interesting to see all that.
5/26/67.
67?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's old.
Social Security, grade, location. Person to be notified in case of emergency. Personal office, Department of Public Welfare, Children's Center, Laurel, Maryland.
When I went to the basement and to the morgue, I just thought there's possibly hundreds of people that passed away that passed through these halls, and that a lot of bodies were stored here and kept here. And to know that it was a dark place, considering the state of the patients and everything that happened there, like the medical incompetence of the staff and all the mistreatment of patients, I thought this was a very dark and horrible place spiritually.
we saw what was the morgue, which we had seen in other videos and stuff. There was a bed, still had everything on it, and there was like a bunch of papers, you could unillegible papers, you couldn't read them, they were so old. Might have been death statements, I don't know. It was really cool to see though.
The morgue was kind of crazy because it's like 380 people died in that asylum, and every single one of them spent time in that morgue being treated for burial, which I can't imagine was that much of a process because it's a mass grave. They're all buried in a mass grave somewhere on site. It's kind of the history of it all comes to you, and it's like all these people died here, all of them were here. If there's ghosts, they're here, man. Kind of crazy. I think one of y'all found a scalpel or something, and it's like, yep, that was used to cut open dead bodies.
Seen the papers talking about everything and telling you that story of what unfolded and what happened there. It was really interesting seeing patients' names, their social security numbers, equipment used, and objects and tools needed for certain patients.
From what you guys have told me, a lot of bad shit went on there. I mean, in the beginning, it was just, a place for mentally ill people just to get taught, like, the best they can, just working with their hands, doing farm work, working with animals, just stuff to, help them get by and live their lives.
But then towards the end, it lost government funding. That's where the care for the patients by the staff dropped drastically. There was a lot of abuse there, sexual, physical, mental, all these things that should never be done to people who are forced to be in someone else's care.
And it was known for cruelty, abuse, and even killing some of the patients that were there. And when it shut down, there was a mass grave set there.
Throughout its whole history, they just mistreated the patients heavily, abusing them in all sorts of ways, and just a very horrible place for patients to be.
One room that really stood out to me because you could tell exactly what it was. It was like this room, and there's a wall in the middle of the room with these little windows and cutouts, and it really reminded me of like those rooms in prison where you got the phones on either side and the glass so you can talk to people and visitors and stuff. That's crazy. Like there's probably some wild people behind those windows there being talked to and treated behind them. It was kind of crazy, but mainly just because you knew exactly what that was used for.
You can see down the hall and see where like people were kept. Those big iron doors. No, yeah, that was really interesting to see. Just a hall of cells. It was freaky.
Yeah, so we had just finished up exploring that third floor, and you look up and you see the roof and stuff, and you see all these pipes, and it's like you don't really think about going up there because there's no floor. Some of us were starting to go down, and I'm like, hey, you guys know there's a ladder up here because I saw this little catwalk, these little wooden boards up there. I imagine there's more up here, so yeah, you guys, let's go check this out.
I wanted to go up to the attic because I thought it'd be like a great view up there. I wanted to see like if there was any more building, there might be some stuff up there that's interesting, and see if there was any writing left up there.
I wanted to go up there just because it'd be awesome. There were windows up there. I want to see a great view. So I climbed up the ladder, went on the boardwalk. The boardwalk wasn't too bad. It wasn't in shambles. There's a few boards here and there that were a little sketchy, but if you avoid those, it was pretty sturdy actually.
There, and then when you get up there, you can just see like the bird's eye view of all of that shit. Walking on like these old bricks, and as I already said, like these buildings, they're not structurally sound. Walking on like these pipes and these air vents, just to get across to the next place, it was pretty fucking sketchy.
Like I'm walking out on these wooden boards, and the very last one is just broken in half. Yeah, it's really funny. I sent that one. They're like, how's the asylum? I sent them that video because it kind of sums it up. Super sketchy, but great views. Made it all worth it.
Look down. The board's broken. Beautiful.
Just going through, and it was really pretty. They have nice views. There was a part where you couldn't hold on to anything, and if you fell, there's like rusted ass shit everywhere. I was like, my tetanus is up to date. I'm fine. I should be all right. But the thing is the floors are not stable at all. So if I fell, I could have possibly fell all the way straight down.
Some places it was just a floor, you would have been fine. A lot of places, like especially where we were going, there were stairs. If you fell on the stairs, you were going to be done. Fell near the elevator or into where the elevator shaft was, you were done. It was not fun, but kind of fun.
The stability up there was not good at best. Every step you took, you had to be careful, otherwise you might fall through, and you could not have two people on the same board, otherwise it would most likely snap.
Hey, Trump, what's the plan?
Plan is, myself and Tucker boy over there,
Tucker boy.
we're gonna go through that little entrance right there, climb onto the roof, and perform some high-quality rain dances.
Hey guys, look, I'm on the roof. Josh.
Just heard voices.
Before going in, what I knew about the security was that there wasn't very much security personnel at the facilities. They just drove around white trucks and barely even noticeable as if they were even there. You know, there's almost no security presence from my understanding before going there.
Well, I knew that the security was definitely roaming, around the edges of the asylum property. But, I knew that they probably weren't going to be that present that we could, make it through, but we still had to be pretty careful.
They go around, they don't go inside, they don't go any further, they just roam around, and from videos, it's just people sitting in their car and stuff like that. It's not very much shown that it's like them getting out.
I knew security wasn't heavy, but I didn't know they patrolled time and time again, so I didn't expect to see security too much. I was really surprised that we seen them.
Roof was falling apart. I almost fell through it. I felt it depressed so much.
You can't move fast. Like everything in your body is telling you, like, yeah, don't get arrested. Gotta move fast, because it's like if you move too fast, you're gonna take the wrong step, and you're gonna fall.
Tucker! Tucker! All right, yeah, they're probably downstairs.
I just heard voices.
Get in here.